What is going on, guys? It is the Desolate Dragon here, welcoming you to something that probably has been on hold for far too long. Some of you guys have even asked me about it, and I have no excuse. But I hope finally being able to have it makes up for it. But here we are with Chapter 10 of Guardians of Equestria: Rise of the Blue Sun. I am very sorry that I've gone on so long without recording this, but it's back. It's here. I'm reading it. So without further ado, here we are with Chapter 10, A Party of a Lifetime. It was morning time in Ponyville. Everyone was everyone was waking up for a brand new day. At the house of Hawk, he was still asleep. It is Saturday, and he usually likes to sleep in, unless there was a monster terrorizing the town. But Hawk had a feeling that there wasn't going to be one today. He was sleeping. As he was sleeping, he noticed something heavy was on him. He opened his eyes to find another pair of eyes looking back at him. It was Pinkie Pie, and she was lying on top of him. They were staring at each other until Hawk said, Pinkie, what are you doing?" Pinkie then said, "Saying good morning to you." "Right. Pinkie, why are you here?" Hawk asked differently. "Well, it's just that you hung out with every one of my friends, and they got into like super cool adventures with you, and I wanted to have a super cool adventure with you as well. So you pretty much stuck with me until we have a super cool adventure," Pinkie answered. Hawk looked at Pinkie with a strange look and thought of what she said. So far he did have adventures with almost all the gang, and Pinkie is the only one left who hasn't been on any adventures with him. He certainly did go to all the parties she invited him to, but to her that wasn't enough. He decided to go along with it, he decided to go along with it and sees what happens. Sounds like a grammatical error to me. All right, if you want to. All right, Pinkie, if you want to. I'll let you tag along with me for the day," Hawk said. Pinkie smiled and said, "Woohoo! All right, this calls for a party." "I don't think that's required. Plus, every pony is still recovering from the last party you threw," Hawk pointed out. "It wasn't my fault that the fireworks went off all at once," Pinkie said, defending herself. "Pinkie, you lit the fuses," Hawk pointed out again. "Oh, yeah, that was fun," Pinkie said while she was giggling. Hawk sighed and then got out of bed. He changed his clothes, went to the bathroom to brush his teeth and comb his hair. And he went to go eat breakfast while Pinkie was watching him closely. It was really disturbing. Hawk and Pinkie were now in town, walking around seeing where they could have their adventure. They looked everywhere to see if there were any monster sightings around, but according to Rainbow Dash, there wasn't any. Nor were there any indications of one, so Pinkie decided for them to see if any pony needed help. They looked around the town again to see if any pony needed help, but to no avail. No pony needed any help at all. The whole morning had passed, and Pinkie was getting annoyed. By the fact that there is no monsters, nor was there any pony that needed help. Hawk noticed this and said, "You know, Pinkie, it's only been morning. The monsters could come at any minute, and the ponies in town usually need help with anything until the afternoon." Pinkie said, "Oh," said, "Ooh." I don't even know how to read that. Pinkie then said, "Oh, it's just not fair. Every time some pony hangs out with you, bam, a monster comes out of nowhere, and you beat the stuffings out of it. But now when you're with me, nothing exciting happens." "Pinkie, are you serious?" Hawk said. "What?" Pinkie said. "You you pretty much throw parties for everyone almost every day. You cheer up every pony when something bad happens to them. And yeah, sometimes you even go as far as going out of your way just to make them your friend. You can't tell me that being with you isn't exciting, right? Hawk said. Well, everything does get exciting when any pony's around me, Pinkie replied. You better believe it, I still have the burn marks from last night to prove it. It said to proof it, but, that's not how you write it. The burn marks from last night to prove it, Hawk said, when he was showing off the burn marks. Yeah, sorry about that, Pinkie said, while she was giggling with an apologetic look. It's okay, it's not the first time I got burnt by fireworks, Hawk said. You know what? We don't need to fight monsters to have fun. We can... Oh, this is Pinkie. Okay. You know what? You don't need to fight monsters to have fun. We can do whatever we want to have fun doing it. We can do whatever we want and have fun doing it, Pinkie announced. Yeah, that's the spirit. Where are we going? What are we going to do? Hawk asked. Pinkie sat on the ground for a good minute. She thought and thought and thought until she had an idea. She then said, "Oh, we can throw a party." Pinkie, I don't think every pony is up for another party, Hawk said. No, silly. We're going to throw a party for us, Pinkie replied. Huh? Hawk said with surprise. Well, since every pony else is tired, but you and I aren't, we can throw a party ourselves. That way I can still throw a party and have a super cool adventure. Oh, it'll be wonderful, Pinkie explained. Well, if that's okay with you, then why not? Let's do it, he said eagerly. Pinkie then said, Yeah, let's head over to my place and have it there. Okay, Hawk answered. Pinkie and Hawk then went over to Sugar Cube Corner to throw a party, but unknown to them, there is something lurking in the shadows. Hawk and Pinkie were setting up for their party and were getting all hyped up for it. As Pinkie was making the cupcakes and Hawk was decorating, Twilight came in hoping to get something sweet to eat, and she noticed what was happening. Twilight then asked, Hey Hawk, hey Pinkie, what are you two doing? Oh, we're just setting up for a party. We're just setting up a party for me and Hawk here. Since you guys all had all the super cool adventures with him, I thought I would have a super cool adventure with him today, Pinkie answered. That sounds like fun. Do you have one more room for me if you want? Twilight asked. Well, of course, silly. What kind of friend would I be if I didn't at least make room for my girls to join in? Pinkie replied. Great, Twilight said with a smile. Twilight then went over to Hawk to help him out with the decorations. Hawk leaned over to her and whispered, What are you really here for? I'm afraid Pinkie would go out of control again like last night, and thought I would try to stop her from doing it again, Twilight answered. Sounds like a good plan to me, Hawk replied. After a while, the decorations were set, the cupcakes were ready, and Pinkie was ready to party. She started the music, and everyone started to celebrate. They first ate as many of the cupcakes as they could and drank some of the punch that she made. Unfortunately, Gummy had got into it again, and Twilight spit out the drink, except Pinkie and Hawk. Twilight then asked, Why didn't you spit that out? What? The alligator flavor gave it the kick it needed, Hawk replied. Oh, that's just disgusting. I second that, Pinkie also replied. Oh, that is nasty. Twilight looked at them both with disgust. When they were done, all of them decided to start dancing with each other. Hawk started showing off his moves, and he really could think for it. Okay. Hawk started showing off his moves. All he could really think of for dance moves were at least moves that were used in the 70s. Oh, good God. What was it, disco? Twilight and Pinkie cheered him on. Pinkie then decided to go to the back to make more treats for them and left Twilight and Hawk alone. The music then played a slow song, and they both looked at each other. Hawk then asked, "Would you like this dance with me?" "Yeah, I think I would," Twilight answered with pleasure. Oh, God. "Have to warn you, though, I'm not that good at it," Hawk commented. "Don't worry, I'll teach you," Twilight replied. Ooh. Hawk and Twilight then Hawk and Twilight then held each other and started dancing together. They both were feeling something for one another, and they had a good idea of what they were feeling. They both stopped, and as their faces were getting close to each other, they heard a scream coming from the kitchen. They quickly ran towards the scream until they saw Pinkie being held tight around by a snake-like person. The snake was long and green. The bottom half of it was as long. The bottom half of it was where the long tail was in the up. Jeez, oh Pete, how do I even say that? The bottom half was a long tail, and the upper part was a humanoid reptile with a head of a cobra. There you go, did it. I had to cut out some words and make sense of it. Jeez, oh Pete, is this guy's second language English? What the heck? That made no sense at all. I think you need to proofread your, You definitely need to do some proofreading in your chapters, my dude. But anyway. While Pinkie Pie was being strangled, she said, "Yes! Finally a monster! Now you can beat it up and act!" "Don't worry, Pinkie, we'll save you," Hawk replied. The snake then lunged at Hawk and Twilight. Before it could do anything, Hawk quickly grabbed Twilight and teleported them out of the way, and moved to a different part of the kitchen. It was a new trick that Twilight showed him recently, and thought that it was what he needed to defeat this creature. Before the creature could try again, Hawk teleported near Pinkie, grabbed her, and teleported her to safety. Then Twilight shoots an energy ball at it and misses. Is this like Dragon Ball Z? Because I'm pretty sure that's similar to instant transmission. The snake disappeared before their very eyes. The group huddled together to make sure the creature didn't sneak up on them. Twilight got her magic ready. Hawk charged up his arm with electricity, and Pinkie had a frying pan ready. The group was ready, but unknown to them, the creature was on top of them. It used its tail to push Twilight and Pinkie out of the way, got its tail around Hawk, and started strangling him. Hawk couldn't concentrate because the creature had its tail around his neck, and he couldn't breathe. When the snake appeared in front of him and said, "At last, I get the honor to kill you." "What? Did you just talk?" asked a choking Hawk. Or hang on, let me try that again. "What? Did you just talk?" asked a choking Hawk. Before the snake could say anything else, Pinkie Pie came up behind him and hit him in the head with a frying pan. The snake was in pain, and its ears were ringing. Hawk took the chance and got free of the creature's tail. Twilight and Hawk then used their magic together to strike at the snake. It screamed with pain and finally fell over. Hawk then quickly ran over to it and said, "I fought the other monsters that came after me, and you're the first to actually talk. How is it that you can talk?" "Ha! I'm the only disciple to survive the process and still have a mind of my own," replied the snake. "Disciple? Disciple of what? And what process?" Hawk asked. "Did you really think the monsters... Oh, Jesus. Did you really have to do that? That came after you were just captured and tamed? No, we were created from ponies who really transformed into creatures with immense power to destroy you and serve our master," the snake answered. Okay, that's just... every snake monster has to contract their S's. Then Hawk said, "Wait, You mean those creatures I killed were... The snake interrupted and said, "Yes, they were once ponies, and you killed them." Hawk was horrified at what he just heard. The monsters that he defeated were nothing more than just ponies that he had killed. He looked at his hands and realized that there was pony's blood on them. He didn't know what to think of this news. His thoughts were racing, and thoughts that if he had known along, would he still kill them, or would he have found a way to save them? The thoughts never stopped, and Twilight and Pinkie looked at him with worry. Before anything else happened, the snake said, "You're nothing more than a murderer of pony kind. You claim to protect ponies from monsters. But what you truly protect from them are other ponies. And you just killed them without a second thought. Some hero you turned out to be." Before anyone could say anything, the snake pony started choking and died. Everyone was in silence because of the shocking news that they had heard. Some time had passed, and the royal guard took the snake body away and left the bakery with Hawk, Twilight, and Pinkie. The three stood in silence after what they heard. Pinkie then decided to lighten the mood and said, "Well, that wasn't much of a super cool adventure than what I thought." "Yeah," Hawk replied. "Didn't think it could get any worse," Twilight said. Hawk then said, "Yeah, I know. Hey, Pinkie, thanks for throwing the party. It was fun while it lasted." "Yeah, no problem," Pinkie replied. "Well, I'm going to go home now." "See you later," Hawk said. "Yeah, I'll go home too. See you later, Pinkie," Twilight said. "Okay, see you guys later," Pinkie replied. Pinkie and Twilight then left. Hawk and Twilight then left and went on the same path to their homes at night. As they were walking, Twilight noticed Hawk was shaking, and all of a sudden he dropped down on his knees, crying, and shouted, "Oh God, Twilight, what have I done?" Twilight quickly held on to him tightly and said, "There was nothing you could have done. You didn't know. We didn't know." As Hawk was crying while Twilight was holding on to him, an evil lord started laughing while watching the misery from his orb. End of chapter 10. Well, there you guys have it. That was chapter 10. Sorry for all the pauses and commentary in the middle, but some of it was just really cliche. Some of it was just really bad writing and bad grammar. And a lot of it was just like redundant as heck. But, there you guys have it. There's chapter 10. Again, I'm really sorry for the long delay. I hope this makes up for it. Maybe I'm hoping to get more motivated to make more videos. I really am. So my channel's now starting to have some gaming live streams, so maybe, some people come in and check those out. Oh, and one more bit of announcement. I'm at 100 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for getting me to 100 subs. It means the absolute world to me. You guys have no idea. At the point of recording this video, last I checked, I had 101 subs. And, a mile... To some people, who have higher numbers, that's not much of a milestone. But, a lot of people who have higher numbers can see that as, humble beginnings as a milestone. And, I really do thank you guys so much for subscribing to me, liking the videos. Yeah, at this point right now, I have 101 subscribers, and I just thank you guys so much. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like the video if you did. Leave a comment telling me how I did. No matter what I say, any feedback is always good feedback. Subscribe to Move to the Desolate Land today. Despite the name, it is a beautiful place. We have swimming pools and barbecues all day long. I am the Desolate Dragon, and I will see you all later. Peace!